Hello dear friends, and welcome to Yoga with Rachel. Today's yoga class is dedicated to the heart and the hips. So there is a deep connection that exists between these two, and we will be exploring that in today's class. For items, please bring a blanket or a pillow, as this can help create a little bit more ease in the postures that we explore together. So without further ado, let's get started. Join me down on the ground, find a cross-legged seat. There's an option to sit on a folded blanket or a pillow. This not only offers a lift to the hips, but it can also help us sit a little taller. So throughout our days, we may find that the heart becomes collapsed. And this can happen when we are watching TV, working at a desk, or even driving. So let's explore finding an active lift in the chest, in the heart space, by drawing the shoulders back in space, shoulder blades coming closer together. Tuck in your chin slightly, so that way your chin is about parallel to the ground. Breathe in to send your hands from left to right. Draw your hands back in space. Breathe out to bring your hands together, prayer hands, and then bring your hands to your heart space. Let's take active prayer hands here. So what I mean by this is actively pressing your palms together, including your fingers, and then send your elbows from left to right. Reach your sternum, your heart center, towards your thumbs, and continue to draw your shoulder blades together. You may notice that your thumbs are curling in a little bit, and now this could be due to texting. So let's do our best to stretch through the thumbs as well. This is very energetic, and you may even find that you are trembling here. Invite this tremble, as this is prana or energy flowing through ya. I also invite you to explore finding some softness in your face, especially your jaw. Breathe in. Breathe out to relax your hands and your arms. Place your left hand on your heart space, and then place your right hand on your belly. I now invite you to soften your gaze or close your eyes. When you breathe in, direct the breath to your heart space, perhaps feeling the expansion take place in your chest on the inhale, and then the softening that takes place on the exhale. Breathe in, the breath travels to your heart, and then breathe out. Let's send the breath further down towards the pelvic region. Perhaps visualize breathing into your hips. Breathe in to direct the breath past your heart, down to your belly, and then to your hips. And then on your breath out, the breath travels in the opposite direction, back the way it came. Breathe in to direct the breath down, down, down to your hips. And then breathe out. Continue exploring breathing into your heart and your hips. Now, if you are like, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, trust that you are. This is us exploring and perhaps trying something new as we connect mind to body. So before we get moving, let's talk about today's theme. So you may have heard that the hips and the heart store emotion. There's a connection between the hips and heart in relation to how we feel. Hip and heart opening postures can help us release unwanted emotions, helping us be more open to receiving what serves. Physically speaking, heart openers are fantastic for opening up the chest and can help us gain flexibility in the back body, especially the thoracic spine, so the mid-back area. Hip openers are really great for those tight hips. This can happen from sitting for long periods of time. The hip flexors can become quite tight and the glute muscles weaken. So this practice is really great for anyone who may be seeking an emotional release. And this class is also great for stretching and strengthening these key areas of our body, the hips and the heart. So with that in mind, let's breathe on in through the nose and then breathe out through your nose or your mouth. Open your eyes. Uncross your legs and then plant your feet on your mat. You can continue to sit on your pillow or your blanket. Swim your hands behind you, planting your palms on the mat with your fingertips facing towards your body. Loop your shoulders, draw your shoulder blades together, and lift your chin slightly. I like to call this, I am just lounging on the beach pose. So you can sway a little from side to side here as you lift your heart space. Breathe in. Breathe out to come forward and then make your way to all fours. Feel free to make use of your pillow or your blanket to pad your knees. When you are there, stack your wrists under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Tuck your toes under to stretch out through the soles of your feet and your toes. Breathe in to reach your tailbone, your hips towards the sky, dropping your belly as you open up through your heart space. Lift your gaze. Breathe out, starting with your tail, tucking it under, rounding through your spine, chin releases towards your chest. Move very slowly here. Breathe in to make your way to cow pose. Consider how your heart and hips are involved in this movement. Breathe out to find your cat pose, stretching through the upper back body. Cat-cow is fantastic for gentle spinal extension and flexion, encouraging movement throughout the spine. Okay, one more round. Breathe in to find your cow pose. Breathe out to make your way to cat pose. Breathe in to find a neutral spine. Walk your hands wider than shoulder width apart. Press your fingertips into the earth. Breathe in. Breathe out to send your hips to the sky. And in downward facing dog, I invite you to pedal out your feet, releasing one heel towards the earth at a time, bending one knee in at a time. Find stillness. Bend your knees as you melt your heart towards your thighs. Continue to direct your hip points towards the sky. Breathe in to send your breath to your heart and then to your hips. And then when you breathe out, send your breath in the opposite direction. Lovely. Straighten through your legs. Anchor through your left heel as you lift your right foot to the sky. Dial your toes down so that your heel is in line with your hip. Breathe in. And then as you breathe out, begin to draw your knee in towards your heart center. Shift forward like in plank pose. And then place your right foot on the right side of your mat. So near your right pinky finger. Right toes point out slightly and your heel turns in. Your right knee is stacked over your ankle. So there's an option to keep your left knee lifted away from your mat, or you can lower that knee. You can even make use of a pillow or a folded blanket to pad your left knee. So you have options that you can explore here. You can stay lifted on your palms, or you can lower down to your forearms to deepen the stretch. Wherever you are, press away from your mat, perhaps feeling some spaciousness in your heart space. Rock a little forward and back as we open up through the hips. Breathe in. Breathe out. Everyone, lower your left knee to the earth and come up onto your palms if you are not already there. Begin to shimmy your right foot in towards center, so that way your hands frame your right foot. On your next breath in, send your hands to the sky press your hips forward, reach your thumbs back as you open up through your heart. Breathe out to relax your shoulders down and away from your ears. Breathe in. Breathe out to fold forward. Plant your palms and then step your right foot back to find a tabletop position, coming to all fours. Curl your toes under. Hands are wider than shoulder width apart. Breathe in. Breathe out to find your downward facing dog. Let's jump right into it. Anchor through your right heel as you send your left foot to the sky. Your left heel is in line with your hip. Toes face towards your mat. Breathe in. Breathe out to slowly shift forward. Knee comes in towards your heart. And then step your left foot to the left side of your mat and beside your left pinky finger. Toes turn out, your heel points in slightly. Choose an option here that feels most supportive. So this could mean staying on your palms, lowering onto your forearms, or even lowering your back knee. Breathe deeply as you rock forward and back, encouraging perhaps a deeper opening in your hips as we explore this lizard pose. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lower your back knee to the ground if it isn't already there, and then come up onto your palms. Begin to walk your left foot towards center. Your fingertips frame your left foot. On your next breath in, send your hands to the sky. Find a lift in your chest. Breathe out to relax your shoulders away from your ears. Breathe in, hands reach. And then breathe out to float your hands back down to your mat. Plant your palms and then step your left foot back, tabletop position. Breathe in. Breathe out to find a downward facing dog. You can pedal out your feet again, stretching it on out, swaying your hips from side to side. Find stillness. Breathe in through your nose, and then breathe out through your mouth to let it all go. Beautiful. Step your feet to the top edge of your mat. Bend your knees in this forward fold and release your fingertips or your palms to the earth. As you breathe in, begin to slowly roll up through your spine, nice and slow, like you are moving through molasses. We meet together in mountain pose. Take a moment to notice how you feel. Breathe in to send your hands to the sky. Breathe out to relax your shoulders down. For this next movement, find a soft bend in your knees. Breathe in. Breathe out to twist to the right, sending your left arm forward and your right arm behind. Draw your hands back. Breathe in to reach your hands towards the sky. Breathe out to find an open twist to your left. Again, keep a soft bend in your knees. Breathe in to send your hands overhead. Breathe out to bend at your elbows as you send your hands behind you and by your tailbone. Interlace your fingers, bring your palms together or maintaining space, your choice. Reach your hands towards the ground and then away from your body. Feel that juicy stretch in your shoulders and your chest. Breathe in. Breathe out to begin to hinge forward at your hips. Keep that bind with your hands as you fold forward. Bend your knees, and then continue to reach your hands towards the sky for a deeper stretch in this forward fold. Breathe in. Breathe out to release the bind with your hands as you rise up, standing tall in mountain pose. Walk your feet under your hips if they are not already there. Step your right foot back and towards the back edge of your mat, pivot on your foot, toes pointing in. Your whole foot presses into the mat and your back leg is straight. Sink into your front knee, aligning your knee over your ankle. Breathe in. Breathe out to open up to a warrior two. Your left arm is forward. Turn to look past your left fingertips. Loop your shoulders, draw your pinkies back in space. Notice that lovely lift in your heart space. And perhaps take note of the work taking place in your hips. Although Warrior Two is often regarded as a strong, fierce, and power posture, can you explore finding some softness here? Perhaps in your face, or even your fingertips. On your next breath in, reach your left hand forward and then to the sky as you place your right hand on your right hamstring or your calf muscle. Keep a bend in your front knee. Roll your left shoulder back as you look up towards the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out to make your way back to a warrior two. Breathe in. Breathe out to release your hands to your hips. Pivot on your right foot so your back heel is lifted, and then find a bouncing action in that back knee as you step your right foot up to the top of your mat. Now step your left foot back, pivot on your back foot, your toes turn in. Sink into your front leg. Your right thigh is roughly parallel to the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out to find your warrior two, reaching your right arm forward and turn to look past your right fingertips. Play around with sending the breath to your heart and then to your hips. Perhaps using the breath as a tool to help us find steadiness and ease in this posture. On your next breath in, reach your right hand forward, up and back as you lower your left hand to your back leg. Look up towards the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out to make your way back to a warrior two. Breathe in. Breathe out to lower your hands to your hips. Pivot on that back foot and then step your left foot up to the top edge of your mat. Great work, everyone. As you breathe in, send your hands from left to right, take up space. And now send your hands to the sky. Breathe out to slowly fold forward, sending your hands back in space so that way you are leading with your heart. Plant your palms on your mat and then step your feet back to a high plank. Breathe in. Breathe out to lower down to your belly. Uncurl your toes. Press the tops of your feet onto your mat, rock your pelvis forward, and slide your hands so that way they are in line with your rib cage. Breathe in to loop your shoulders, lift your chest, finding a baby cobra. Breathe out to lower and release. Breathe in to lift and open up through your heart, baby cobra. Breathe out, lower and release. One more round. Breathe in, lift your chest, press into your foundation to support you in this posture. Breathe out to lower and release. Release your forehead to the earth. For our next posture, you may want to use a pillow or a folded blanket. If that's available, place one close to your right thigh. As we get settled here, you can stay lifted on your forearms. Begin to bend at your right knee as you draw your right knee off to the side so that way your knee is in line with your hip and your right ankle is in line with your right knee. So you can peek at your screen if you need to. If you have a folded blanket or a pillow, place this item under your right leg to support your knee. Place your left arm on your mat, elbow pointing out, and then stack your right arm on top of your left arm. Release your chest to the earth and then your forehead to your stacked hands. Breathe into that right hip. Lovely. Slowly begin to send your right foot back towards the back edge of your mat, straightening through your leg. Come up onto your forearms. Place your item, if you are using one, to the left side by your thigh. Start to bend at your left knee as you bring it off to the side. Your left knee is in line with your hip. Place your item under your left leg. Whenever you feel ready, release and lower. Melt your forehead onto your stacked hands. Breathe and chillax here. All right. Send your left foot back towards the back edge of your mat, straightening through that leg. Now come up onto your forearms. Stack your elbows so that way they're under your shoulders and your forearms run parallel to one another. Press away from your mat. Breathe in. And then as you breathe out, curl your toes under and press up to a forearm plank. Breathe in. Breathe out to a high plank, palms on the earth now. Breathe in. Breathe out to lower your knees to the earth. Swing your legs to one side and then come to a seat on your mat. Plant both feet on your mat a bit wider than hip distance apart. Hands can rest at your sides. We are going to explore fire log pose as we continue to open up through our hips. Place your left leg on the ground, so there's about a 90-degree angle at the back of your knee, and your left shin is parallel to the edge of your mat. Now guide your right foot so that way it is on top of your left knee, and allow your right knee to gradually lower towards your left foot. So maybe you can see why it is called fire log pose. Our legs are like logs stacked on top of one another. So this is a deep hip opener. Feel free to create space between your right knee and your left foot. You can use a folded blanket or your pillow and then place this item under your right knee for comfort and support. Place your fingertips or your palms on the earth as we breathe here. Okay, very carefully make your way out of this posture. Planting both feet on your mat once again, feet are wider than hip distance apart. Your right leg will now serve as a bottom log, so keep your foot very active by flexing through that right foot. Slowly guide your left leg on top of your right leg. You can use your prop here if you would like. Perhaps just take a moment to notice how this side feels in comparison to the other side. And once again, I invite you to breathe deep. Gorgeous. Let's make our way out of this posture and find a cross-legged seat. Breathe in to reach your hands to the sky. Breathe out to bring your hands together, slice it down through the middle, and then bring your hands to your heart. Thumbs press against your sternum. Bow your head and close your eyes. Take a moment to notice how you feel physically, energetically, emotionally. How do your hips feel? What about your heart? It is my hope that this yoga for the heart and hips flow served you well. Return to this practice whenever you are looking for a good stretch and for those times in which you are looking to release trapped emotions. Let's take a final breath in through the nose and then breathe out through your mouth. Thank you so very much for being here. Subscribe to Yoga with Rachel for more amazing yoga and wellness content. Sending love and light your way. Take care. Namaste.